Hi folks, I did one this morning before we went out and did the main shopping, but it didn't record for some reason. Maybe I thought I'd pressed record and I hadn't. So I'm going to paint on the back of it. So this is a bit of the cheaper studio paper. The Fabriano, £130. So it's got about a third wood pulp and the rest is cellulose. Third rag content, linen, and the rest is cellulose, wood pulp. Right, okay, let's get a bit of sienna in there. I'll do a woody scene. A bit late to start painting really, I'm usually finished by now. So a bit of red in there, just to got a bit of character to the sky. And have a bit of ultra. Now this paint dries much lighter than when you put it on. Okay, a bit of red with that. I'm going to put a few clouds in, but most of the sky will be covered up. Yeah, it's about 15 degrees out there. Beautiful, beautiful day. Now I'm going to reclip that. This paper's been stretched so many times this morning. Right, that'll do. Let's get some richer paint in there. So let's have a bit of Payne's grey and a bit of ultramarine. While it's still all nice and damp. When I'm rich, I'll use artist quality paints, much more saturated than these. They're very good for what they are. But if you notice, the price of everything's gone up in the art world, probably because a lot of people have taken up painting in lockdown, something to do. So the manufacturers have cashed in a bit. That's my thoughts on it. There's an autumn day on a local river. Just pull it tight. Get that fairly tight. And pull that nice and tight. There, that's pretty flat. So now we'll put in some heavy colour. So burnt sienna, Payne's grey, bit of blue, bit of yellow. And we'll put that in here. You can scrape this paper quite well. It's probably the best paper there is for lifting out. So river coming down there. There's some more dark in there. Got the autumn colours in here. Bit of reflection coming down. And same there. There's a lot of work going on over the back of my garden. I think the loft has been a loft room is being let into the roof space. That's what I've got here. A lovely big room here. But I find that I'm running out of space with all the work I do. A lot of my stuff is on Etsy. I've got about 80 paintings on it, but I haven't sort of updated it for a while. Thinking that, well, you know, there's enough there to be getting on with for people who want to buy. Right, let's get a bit of nice autumny colour in here. A bit more dark in here. I'm going to scrape out some trees in a minute before it dries. So while the paper's got the shine on, you can do what you like with it within reason. But a bit of paint's growing a bit of red. Autumn leaves. Go a little bit there. Right, now with the finger, just start to lift out. We're going to put some bigger ones in here, but just to get a bit of detail going. Okay, get a card. I had a lot of cards a while ago. Right, so just right. Just a little bit of goes a long way, really. Sort of a rocky Cornish, no, not Cornish, Dartmoor. You can overdo this, folks, so be warned. I overdo it myself because it looks so good, the contrast. You can't always do this with the better quality papers, which are much more porous than this, to begin with anyway. This paper, the water doesn't soak right straight in. That's why you can scrape it out before it goes a bit dry. Then you can't do it. But let's get some. Oh, I don't think we've overdone that. Get some detail there. Well, that's dry. Well, I will dry it. You can add a bit of dry brush to it and put some larger chunks in. I don't really want to take it off the top of the tree. I mean, the top of the picture. I want to have some of that left. So, well, I'm going to dry it now. So, take your headphones off. I drink some of my tea. I always let it go cold. This is all very simple stuff. I know some of you struggle with it, but it's only practice. You're not going to make a watercolour painter or an oil painter or an acrylic painter in 10 minutes. I started 45 odd years ago, longer than that, and I'm still learning. You never get as good as you want to be. And I just to briefly tell you, a lot of the stuff that's on the BBC iPlayer is not there on the Channel 4, which is the sort of art channel, but some of it has moved to YouTube. And one of my favourite abstract artists is Sean Scully. I got onto him a couple of years ago and never heard of him. He lived in London, in a very poor part of London, after the war, the Second World War, and that area was near the Thames and the docks, and it got very badly bombed. And his family moved from Ireland, and he eventually won a scholarship to, I think, to an American art college, and went there. They came from Ireland originally, Dublin, he calls himself an Irish American or an American Irish, but he did have his formative years in London. But he's brilliant. I get very excited when I see that work. And he says on one of his videos, if I can, you can. But not quite true. You can't. His stuff looks as if you can copy it, where you can, but he's done it. You can't really go there. And some of his work reminds me of Rothko. But have a look if you want to see something different. It really is different, and he's a great guy. Anyway. Right, okay. I want to just strengthen up that bit. I'll use a hake, a small hake, a medium hake, just to give a little bit of bluey grey on there. Just to show a bit of an end to this. Okay, a bit of coming down there. Okay, let's do a bit of trunks, some trunks. Where's my clean cloth? There it is. I did a couple of oil paintings yesterday, and I'm quite pleased with at least one of them. Was, I think, quite a reasonable piece. It was quite large. It was 20 inches by 16, both of them. Let's get a bit of get something in here. That's about there, I think. I'll use a rigger later when I've got the foliage in, just a little bit. Thicken that. See, the branches have got, or the trunks have got a taper. Thicker to go up to the top. Okay, that'll do for that one. I'm going to put one in behind there. Be smashing up the brush in a minute to get some points on it. Let's put a bit of reflection in there. More or less. Go to the other side. Payne's grey, bit of burnt umber. Anyway, it's just a dark. Let's have one coming in here. What I try to avoid is symmetry. You don't want both sides to be equal weight, otherwise you'll go from between them, so one's got to be stronger than the other. Let's have one coming up here. Did the bike ride on Tuesday. It was lovely, lovely day for a bike ride. We've had a lot of rain lately, but didn't stop us biking, I have to say. some more trees in the background here. A lot of this is going to be covered up. Alright, I want to get a rigger now. Well, no, I won't. I'll carry on with this, with the hake, just to put in a bit of that blue in here. The distance. Just suggestions. Right, okay, now I'm going to dry that off, then we're going to go stippling. But before I do, I want to just anchor these with a bit of foliage. Autumn leaves by my window. Okay, that will do for the moment. I'll sweep my tea, bust up a brush, an old one. I have a friend in Hawaii who sent me a couple of hakes. That's one of them, Glenn. I haven't used much of that one, used very much yet. And he sent me the medium hake. So they're all ready to go when the others wear out. Alright, so just drying it off, trying to get lots of spikes. Good to be in some water though, so we want the yellow and a bit of sienna. More sienna in there. I'll put some green ones in there as well, because you don't just get a yellow or ready tree, you get still some green leaves on it, and we'll have a bit of Payne's grey in that for a shadow. Clean the brush, dry it, and go again. Right, green. By the time I've got some twigs in there, a bit of reflection in there. That cad yellow, this artist quality, when the paint's dry underneath you can go over it. Right, let's do the other side. So just alter the angle of the brush. Just touch the water a bit. So I'll put the connecting branches in this one. Put some dark greens in there in a minute. Now the sun's shining on it. Get a bit of Payne's grey now. green. More Payne's grey, because we've got a lot of shadow in there. Okay, clean the brush, get some more colour. Just mixing burnt sienna with cadmium yellow. Okay, that will do. I'll dry it, have another swig of tea, which is going to be cold by the time I get to drinking it. So here, Payne's grey. Well, I was going to dry this, wasn't I? Just connects the leaves to the tree. Payne's. Don't forget some branches come down, like these. Okay, don't overdo it. Let's get something in here. I might put a few up the top there. But you can overdo this. The branches tend to, or the trunks tend to be, they taper, but they're thick, still thick, until very close to the canopy. Then they go into the spindly spiky bits. Right, I'm going to just dry that. Whoops, dry that. I'll put just a bit at the top. Oh, the sun's going right where doing that. Right, let's just get a bit more of that dark up the top there. We're going to work on the water maybe. Okay, that'll do for that. I'm not sure I want to put anything in that water really. I'll just sign it, I think. Don't know where. Right. If you want, you can always add a bit of shadow for these rocks, but where you scrape, the paint tends to make the shadow for you. If you bear that in mind, well, I put it in a mount. I'll just line down here a bit. Let's come from here. Okay. Stick a bit of tape. Now I'm going to make my next home brew beer, English ale of course. Oh, there we are. Fairly clean, not too muddy. So this here, if I dry that, if I just give that a dry, show you what I mean. put the neat paint, break up another brush. Right, okay, let's do a little bit more stippling on there. So get that yellow and I can put these in. Just have some fun, but don't overdo it like I just have. But I enjoy doing that. It's quite an easy one to do. Use your hake as much as you can. Work from large to small. It sounds obvious, but you can do all these chunks. You can do as elaborately as you like. But no, you're going to cover them up. It's an impressionist watercolour, so I hope you like it. Let's there we go. That won't be recorded. Let's just go up a bit higher. That's better. There we are. Autumn scene. But you can see the colour now stands out with that stipple because the underpainting is dry. It's almost like a gouache, but it's not. It's a watercolour. Right, okay, that's it. Bye for now, folks.